This is Real Retirees Uncut. No filters, no scripts, just conversations about what retirement is really about. Now we're going to meet today's real retiree, which is me. Because that's probably not what I was supposed to do. But you know how it is. Some people like to be in charge all the time. My name is Leander McLean, also known as Lee Mac 912 online, cigar reviewer. I am 61 years old from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I retired when I was 54, and I spent 30 years in the government working as a financial analyst, cost analyst, and somewhere in the middle of that, I picked up the career of being a graphic artist, and I was the head of a graphic arts department. Now, you ask me what drove my decision to retire, because I was tired of the BS. I really was. I was offered an early retirement at 54. I was not ready to retire. I had been planning to retire when I was 60, but they gave me some money at 54. I was sick of it all. I said, I'm out of here. So at 54, I retired. One of the things you ask is things that you're glad you never have to deal with again. It's one of the reasons why I left. Office politics. Office politics. I don't know. Things seem to be a lot different when I started and I was a young grasshopper in the workforce, just out of school. You know how it is. We're going to come out there. We're going to change the entire world. And then somebody puts a little pinhole in your balloon that says, hold on, grasshopper. We got a lot of time and a little bit of work, so you're doing too much. So, you know, the office politics is what causes not always good decisions to be made, but the politically correct decisions to be made. So since I was working for the government, we had a lot of good political decisions that had to be made. They didn't always have to make sense, and because I worked in the cost sector, they didn't always make good fiscal sense. But because the person that was in charge today said this is the way we're going, that was the way we went. I got tired of it. Also got tired of seeing folks being promoted that were less qualified than I was because they played the political game and I didn't. But that's a story from another day. My approach to savings and my strategy. I initially, when I was younger and I first started working in my early 20s, I wanted all of my money in my pocket. I didn't want to put any money in the savings account because I wasn't sure I was going to make it to retire or see any of that money, so give it to me now. Spoke to another young guy who was, he was a few years older than me, not that many, and he showed me his retirement savings form that he had one day, and he had $30,000 in there, and I was like, man, that sounded like $1 million to me from where I was from. $30,000? How did you get $30,000? So he explained that he did the maximum amount that was allowed. The government also matched the amount that you put in up to a certain amount, and after a while, compound interest is a real thing. So, you know, he invested, the interest paid off, and the money just kept piling up. So that's what I decided to do at some point. And you have to put the money in. Don't think about it. If you got money in the stock market, watch it go down and then watch it go up. So over the long run, your stock market goes up and not down. So put your money in and let it stay there and forget about it until it's time to retire. Did you use a financial tax advisor? No, I didn't. I used myself. And I think these days, the younger folks have it a lot better than we do, because with AI, you can go search and find different investment strategies and things to do with your money and how to save for free. So you can do your Googles, as I like to say, a lot of free stuff on the internet. So let's see. All right. Are you concerned with RMDs in the mid-70s? No. At some point, you saved all this money, so some point you must start taking your money out and you must start spending it. And none of us knows how long we're going to live, so you plan to try to have some money for your entire life, and maybe you leave a couple of dollars behind, maybe you don't, and you have a spouse or someone else that you have to care for. You want to make sure that they have money. So hey, I think it's a good thing. I don't understand people that saved all their lives and have all their money stacked up and they're in their mid-70s and never took a dime out. Enjoy yourself. Use some of the money to do what it was saved for. Social Security, what age and why? Because I'm 61, I have that decision to make because 62 is coming up next year for me, and I will be eligible to take it at its earliest point. And I'm considering taking it. The only reason why I would consider not taking Social Security at 62 is because there is an income limit, and because of the way I retired and the money that I got from my retirement, I also faced those income limits, and I ended up making more than the minimum certain years. Then the next year they take the money back, so it's like working for free. So that's the thing you have to consider. How long are you going to work? When are you going to stop working? 62, I'm still kind of young as far as I'm concerned. So I do not plan on not working when I'm 62. It's just how much will I work. The Social Security is going to be a good little chunk of money for me to add to my retirement fund, and also money that I have to take out of the IRAs and those type of things. Healthcare and life insurance. So I've been fighting to understand for probably the last 2 or 3 years to understand what is Medicare. And why do I have to have Medicare? I've always had, for the last 36 years, I've paid for my own medical insurance. I got good insurance. I get sick, I go, I get care, I don't worry about it. Good insurance. So my sister, I called her up one day and I said, look, are you telling me that at a certain age that I have to take this Medicare insurance? I get it mixed up all the time. I said, but I don't want the welfare insurance. She says, it's not welfare insurance, that's Medicaid. Medicare. So Medicare becomes primary and you get some rebates on other parts of it. It's confusing to me. I say, let me just pay like I've been paying and leave me alone. I don't want your government Medicare. Leave me alone. Let me pay for my good insurance and do what I have to do. But that's not the way it works. Life insurance, I got a piece of life insurance when I was working with the government. And when you retire, you get to keep some of it. And the older you are, it goes down to a minimum amount. Every year it goes down, the amount that it pays off. So the way that I look at it is this. I believe the life insurance may pay $30,000. $30,000 is enough money to put me in the ground. First of all, I don't want you to spend $30,000 to bury me. That's just me. A pine box. My wife refuses to cremate me, but I'm like, cremate me and throw me out in the garden or something like that. I don't see, and take the rest of the money and do something with it. You know, have a party, go on vacation, whatever the case. Other things that maybe I could have had life insurance for, I don't. We're going to eventually maybe try to pay off the house. Maybe we don't. You'll have some equity in the house if I'm gone, some years from now, that you'll be able to either refinance or whatever the case is. But I don't have those $1 million life insurance policies. It was something that my mother didn't really believe in, so I also don't believe in it so much. Estate planning, wills and trusts, and that type of thing. That's something that I need to do, but I have not done. In fact, as I sit right here in my office, my wife has been bugging me to fill out this form here. It's called 5 wishes. Basically, it's your 5 medical wishes for when you are not able to make decisions for yourself. You've determined what you want. Do you want, life-saving care? Do you whatever? And I still haven't finished filling that out. So the estate planning with the wills and all those things, I've had wills in the past. My wills are out of date. They need to be updated. It's something that I need to do while I'm still young enough and my mind is still there enough to get it done. I need to do it. I haven't done it. It's on my list. I'm remiss for not having it done. I don't have any trust. I don't know a lot about trust. It's something that I hear people say. I've started a trust or whatever. I'd like to know more about it. I've got to do my Googles and find out something about it. I do have a financial advisor now, but I didn't have one when I started. But maybe I'll ask my financial advisor about a trust. All right. What is a typical day like for me now? So I did talk about working and not working. I'm always doing something. So I work a couple of days a week at the county college. I am teaching CDL school, teaching truck drivers. Before I retired, my plan was to buy a truck when I was about 58 or so and maybe run it from 60 to 65 and then finally retire. That was the plan. But I ended up buying the truck sooner than that. I ran for a couple of years after I did retire from the government. The market went down, so the truck has been parked. So what I do now is I teach a couple of days at the county college. I enjoy my students, enjoying teaching them something new. On Friday nights, I work at the cigar lounge because I call myself a dude in my garage smoking cigars. So you can see all this stuff in the back. Somewhere close to me, there is always a cigar. Every evening, I come out and spend some time smoking a cigar, relaxing, blowing smoke, and doing videos. So I have a YouTube channel, LeeMac912. You can find me on all social medias where I do cigar videos. And I've been doing that for 11 years. So between a couple of jobs, the videos, that's my work part of what I do. And the rest of what I do is I try to relax. Summertime, I spend time fixing up in the yard and gardening and doing that type of stuff. But, I do things that I like to do. Whatever's interesting. I'm always reading. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always surrounded by books. I just got a new book here now about the Apocrypha for beginners. So I'm always trying to learn something new. So that's kind of what my day is like. My day is long. I'm up early and I am in bed late. And I tend to stay up late because I don't sleep well. So I might as well not lay there. I might as well stay up and do something. What do you enjoy the most? I don't know. I'm a person, I enjoy people. I love people. I like being around people, but I also like solitude. I also like being by myself. There's different things that I enjoy in life. I enjoy being together with my wife, and I enjoy my kids and my grandkids and my mother and the family and all those other things. But all of that just kind of mixed into a big ball like a stew. So I think what I enjoy the most is life and what life throws at you. I enjoy all of the challenges and all of the things that you're trying to figure out. And just, I enjoy finding new bourbons and whiskeys and beers. And I always pair up my beer and bourbon and things with the cigars. I enjoy finding new cigars. I enjoy life. That's what I do. You got to learn to enjoy life and just have a good time. Any new hobbies, interests, or skills? My latest one. I always have too many hobbies, right? Too many skills. So my latest hobby, see, I got things all over the place and they are close. This is my incense burner that I just bought because I wanted to see what does frankincense smell like. So I bought a burner to burn frankincense. This is my latest new hobby is the harmonica. So my buddy Jason Ritchie is a world-class harmonica player. He sent me one of his harmonicas, so I fought around with my harmonica. So, that's something that I'm learning. I'm trying to do something with that. I am also a musician, so I spend time at my little home studio writing music and songs for my video channel. I'm so busy. I don't know how I had time to work. That's a quote from my mother, and it really is true. I'm just busy all the time. Any major lifestyle changes? Major lifestyle change number one is going to be the amount of money that you have in your pocket or your excess income or your Can't think of the word there. That's the other thing that changes in life. You start forgetting things. But the extra money, you don't have as much. So you have to figure out what you do with the amount that you have. But one of the things that I can tell you is that I have not missed a meal since I retired. I have had heat every day in my house. I've had air conditioning, so I haven't been too hot or too cold. I've gone away on some trips, maybe not every year, 2-3 times a year, but I continue to get away and do some things. So I enjoy that. So the major change would be the less money you have, but is it really a major change? I'm going to say no, not really a major change. Best trip or activity since I'm retired. I got a chance, on my bucket list, I got a chance to go to Dominican Republic a few years ago. A lot of things with me is tied into cigars, so I went down to my buddy Francisco's factory down in Dominican Republic. He owns a company called Dominican Big Leaguer, and he was opening up his new factory and his new box factory, and they had a party, and we just went down with a group and had a great time. It was great to get out to the tobacco fields and see what happens in the industry, how it works, see how the people live there, not outside of the tourist areas. We were in Santo Domingo, which was not a tourist area at all, but so that was like one of my interesting trips there. So I really did enjoy that. Maintaining physical and mental health. Physical health, I need to do more exercise. I don't. I'm not a guy who does a lot of gym or walking or any of that type of stuff. But I'm so busy, I always feel like I'm exercising because I move a lot. I walk a lot. Whatever I'm doing, moving my body. So it kind of reminds me of the old Asian folks that I saw in Singapore when they would just be moving around, walking, moving their arms and just moving. Just don't sit in one place at one time. So I don't go to the gym. I used to at one point. I don't anymore. The things that I do to keep my mental health together is I do a lot of reading. I watch a lot of documentaries. I talk to a lot of folks. I just keep busy. My mother does Scrabble. In fact, she gave me Scrabble for Christmas. When I go to her house, the board is always set up and she tells me, put a word or two on the Scrabble board. So it's one of the things that you have to do to keep your mind busy. You can't just sit around and do nothing and mope and pout and all that type of stuff. You just really can't, Biggest challenge, surprise, or expense since I retired. I don't know. Like I said, you have less money, but you figure out how to do it and how to do things, right? So one of the things we talked about earlier was taking the money out of the retirement funds, out of those IRAs and things that you save for. The car that you have is not going to drive forever. I know we all want to still think that you can continue to drive that 1972 Deuce and a quarter that your grandfather had when you were a kid, but it ain't going to happen. Those cars are going to break down. At some point, you're going to have to buy a new car. And guess what? Cars are expensive. One time, $30,000 would buy you a luxury car, a very expensive car. Now that's almost about average. So you learn to say, hey, listen, I saved all this money over here. Let me go get a lump of money and take care of the expense if I need to. So that's how I have handled it. Do you wish you had retired sooner or later? I think I retired exactly at the right time. The way that I look at life, I don't regret life. I don't regret what I had to go through. If I had to relive my life over again, what I would do is do it exactly the same thing, exactly the same way. Because each thing that happens to you in your life is a learning experience. So if you don't go through the experience, you don't learn the lesson. So my retirement, if I had retired later, I was at a point where I was very frustrated. It just wasn't looking good for me, for my mental state and, for the things that was going on in my head. So it was best that I left, and that's why I left when I did. And since then, I've had a good time. I've met some great people. I've had a great job. I've been at my little part-time job for a few years now. It wasn't something that I thought I was going to do. I got a chance to drive a truck for a few years. I hope to get back to it. If I do, that's cool. If I don't, I had the experience. So, it was perfect timing. Anything differently to, would I have done anything differently to prepare? I would have started sooner and saved more. That's what I would have done. The very first day that you work on the job, one of the things that you need to learn how to do is to inquire about the retirement fund and put your money in it right away. Start right away. One year we were shut down. The government shut down, so I got a part-time job because, again, you got to figure out how to make some money. So I got a part-time job at Home Depot. As a part-time employee, what we were able to do was buy Home Depot stock at maybe 70% of the market price. So guess what I did? Every check, I bought some. And I bought some, and I bought some more, and I bought some more, and I bought some more. And Home Depot stock went up, and it went up, and it went up, and it went up. And I was like, well, maybe it's not going to go up forever. Let me take some of this money out and spend it. So I sold some stock, but I kept a good bunch. And they eventually converted it over. So now 4 times a year, I get a check from Home Depot. And that's been going on for years. So you got to save early, figure out how to do it. Just put the money away and forget about it. You can't time the market. Just let the market do what it's going to do. How do you define retirement success? Can you live and be happy? That's retirement success. And for some people, it's different things. Some people like to get up in the morning and make a cup of coffee and sit on their porch and wave to all their neighbors going to work. Other people get up and go to the beach or run or exercise. Being able to do whatever it is that you choose to do in your retirement, that's a success. Some people like to travel. Some people like to go on cruises. Some people like to just do nothing. Some people want to go in a cabin in the woods. Being able to do what you want to do on your own schedule, that's retirement success. For me, I'm working 2 jobs, but the great thing about it is there's no stress. So if I wake up tomorrow and I decide that I don't want to go to work, it's not like when I work for the government. You got to put in a leave slip. Somebody's got to approve your time off. I just call up the boss and say, hey, look, man, I'm not coming in today. All right, that's cool. I try to give him as much time as I can ahead to warn him so he can get somebody else. Not a problem. If I have to not make it to the cigar shop, I'll call up my boss and say, hey, boss, I'm not going to be able to come in for this Friday. I'm going to need a couple of weeks off. All right, cool, no problem. And then she'll call me and say, I know it's not your day to work, but can you work on this Sunday? Yeah, I could do that. So that's freedom. That's freedom. Nobody is giving you the, hey, you better do what I tell you, and you better come when I tell you, and you take off when I tell you to take off. Freedom. That is success in retirement, and I love it. I'm having a good time. So any advice that I have, if you're 5 or 10 years from retirement, even if you're only 5 or 10 years from retirement, start saving now. 10 years worth of saving is better than no year's worth of saving. So put away as much as you can in that last 5 or 10 years. 10 years to me is a good cycle in the stock market. It's going to go up and down, but it's going to start here. I think it's going to end here. Wherever here is and wherever here is, that's going to be what it is. So start now. Let your money compound for 10 years. If you get to your retirement time and you don't have to take it out, let it ride. At some point, we talked about earlier, in your 70s, you're going to have to start taking it out. But if you don't have to take it out and you can supplement with another job, let the money ride. So that's going to be my advice. Another piece of advice I'm going to give you, I got to give one of my deacons told me years ago. He said, Lee, don't wait until you retire to do all of the things that you plan to do in life. Jack was a big guy. Jack was about 6'5", broad guy. He's a big guy. And when I met Jack, Jack was driving a Cadillac. It was a big Cadillac. He was a big guy, whatever. He said, Lee, my wife and I, we plan to do all these things when we retired. He said, for years, I drove a little small car. I was working 2 or 3 jobs, all this stuff, and planning for retirement. Well, what happened was his wife passed away before either one of them got to retire. They never got to do those things. So he said, do those things while you can, early in life. So that's going to be my piece of advice. And about his car. He said, you see me, right? I'm a big guy. He said, when I bought that Cadillac, he said, I wondered why all those years I had been squeezing myself into a little tiny car when I really needed a car that fit me and fit my size. So don't deny yourself. Work hard, spend your money, do what you do. All right. That's it. Real Retirees Uncut. The one and only Lee Mac 912, cigar reviewer extraordinaire. If you get a chance, check out my channel on social media. I'm on YouTube, Lee Mac 912, but I'm on all other social media formats as well. Leander McLean is me on Facebook. And I would ask you to please like, share, and subscribe this video if you like it. Thanks again to my brother Corey over there at Real Retirees Uncut for giving me this opportunity. I thank you very much, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.